The biggest political change that occurred in the United States last year also was unpredictable, or unpredicted, I should say. I don't think anybody outside of the Trump family would have predicted that Donald Trump would be indicted 4 times, 91 counts on various indictments, and that his popularity would soar to the point where he has a reasonably good chance of locking up the Republican nomination by March, which is earlier than almost any contested presidential candidate has been able to lock up the Republican nomination. If he is nominated, it'll be the first time ever that a Republican Party has nominated the same person 3 times in a row. He clearly has a following that many of the analysts missed, and I don't think any of the court cases are likely to change his momentum. So I think people should recognize that he's a serious political force and should not discount the fact that he could well be elected again, despite the fact that many people in Europe, where we are now, are not really his biggest fans. And so I wouldn't rule out his possibly getting elected again. Joe Biden shouldn't be discounted. Obviously, we have 2 older candidates. People have suggested to me that I should run for president, but I say I'm only 74 and you need to be older to run. So, but I do think, to be very serious, it'll be a relatively close election. And the final comment is, in our country, in the last 2 presidential elections, 45 states out of the 50 voted exactly the same way in each of those 2 elections. Only 5 states voted differently. Those 5 states are Arizona, Georgia, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Those 5 states are the only ones that voted differently in those 2 elections. Right now, Donald Trump is ahead in all 5 of those states. He lost all 5 of those states last time. Hillary Clinton lost those 5 states as well. Biden won them last time. So everything will get down to those 5 states, and right now, if the election were held today, it would be difficult to see how Trump would lose that election today, but it's a long way away. And the most important thing you can say about presidential elections in our country is things change all the time, and we won't know for sure probably until about a month before the election where it's really going to go.
So, Minister Lindner, how should Europe prepare? And again, how difficult is it as a finance minister to look at models? This is for Minister Lindner. How difficult is it to look at models, to forecast, given all the crises, given the elections, and actually you don't really know what you're left with in 12 months?
Well, I think we are talking too much about Donald Trump in Europe, and we should prepare ourselves for a possible second term for Donald Trump by fostering our European competitiveness. Doing our homework is the best preparation for a possible second term of Donald Trump, and this includes our capabilities to defend ourselves, being an attractive partner on eye level when it comes to the economic situation and when it comes to a fair burden sharing under the roof of NATO is the best we can do to be in a good partnership with the United States. And then it doesn't matter which administration, if we are attractive, if we do not have to ask others because we have capabilities ourselves, it's the best way to cooperate. And this is completely for both possible outcomes of the election in the United States, doing our homework.
Madame Lagarde?
I'd love to follow up on what Christian is saying. I think the best defense, if that's the way we want to look at it, is attack. And to attack properly, you need to be strong at home. So being strong means having a strong, deep market, having a real single market, and we should be expecting some suggestions by Enrico Letta, former Prime Minister of Italy, who is in charge of producing this report on how we can deepen and improve the functioning of that single market, which is a huge economic zone in the world, but which is not completely a single market yet, as many CEOs, I'm sure, experience on a daily basis. And we should, more importantly, make sure that the money that is saved in Europe, or the money that is associated with pension, is actually invested in a capital market union that actually functions efficiently to rally the investment that we badly need for the transition towards a greener economy, which relies certainly for a period of time on fossil fuel, but less so, as was indicated in the last COP28, and moves towards renewable, where investment is badly needed.
May I add just one little aspect, because I'm grateful that Christine has mentioned the Capital Markets Union. I'm concerned that some policymakers in the European Union tend to follow the United States to subsidize almost everything. But we have to avoid a subsidy race we cannot afford. I'm curious if the next US administration can continue the way they support their economy. I wonder if it's sustainable to pay so high subsidies. But what we have to do is to improve our framework conditions for our economies and to make further progress in capital markets union. Our competitive disadvantage compared to the US is not subsidies, it's the function of our private capital market.
Mr. President,